In this video, we will continue modeling our robot arm. Looking at what we had last time, we have the basic outline of our upper arm, elbow, lower arm, as well as we've started the gripper. In this video, I believe I will try to create the base portion here for the end of the arm, as well as these base portions. We'll attempt to array these bolts along our character's arm. And we might even attempt to do some splits. We'll see how far we get. I believe the first thing I'll do is try to create the cap on the end of this. Create a cylinder. Choose this as its center point. Unfortunately, it's not locking in the orientation that I would like. So I think we'll need to switch views. Let's see. We will start our cylinder here, choosing the center point. That end cap looks okay. I think for this cap, I'm not going to put a cylinder. I think that what I'll do is pipe this. It's asking me for the curve to create a pipe around. An edge will work as well. Now it's going to look for a radius. Enter to use that radius all around. I like it. I'm going to actually use the same value on this edge as well. So enter and enter. We'll use the same value that we previously used. And I might put one of these cylinders on the end where my gripper is. First, I'm going to take my entire gripper, turn on my gumball, and I'm going to move this over 1 unit so that when I begin my cylinder, I will need to switch into this view. Let's remove those snaps so that we're not snapping onto. As we come out, let's come out 1 unit. Perfect. Matching 1 unit thicknesses on either end. Alright, what we will do next is draw our bolt in the top view. We will position the bolt in the front view, and then we will array the bolt in our perspective viewport. I'd like to use a polygon with 6 sides. I'm going to turn grid snap on so that I can kind of lock onto this center line. So if that is a radius of 1, let's try a radius of 0.5. That looks good. This piece should be in the middle of our arm. Reason being, we're drawing on this construction plane that's in the top view, which is kind of right down the center of our character's arm. With this selected, we want to turn this into a 3D solid. We want to extrude that straight. We do not want to go in both directions, so both sides should be set to no. Let's go in the positive direction, 0.25. That's a good size. We will now bring this up, taking grid snap off. bring it so that it just begins to peek out and is kind of perpendicular to our curve, this curve specifically. We'll now go to our array command. We will select array along curve, select the object to array, that would be this. This object right here. We'll press enter. The curve we want to put it on is this curve right here. 1, 2, 3. Let's make 8. Well, that's terrible. Let's do an array along curve that's on a surface. This is the object to array. Our base point, we will need to turn on OSnap. Pick that endpoint. There is the curve. Here is the surface. Well, that is definitely not what we want either. New plan. Instead of making hexagons, I'm going to make a sphere. The radius of 0.5. That's a little big. Radius of 0.25. And I will now array this object along this curve, and we'll do 10 times. That's a lot better. I'm going to create another sphere on the endpoint of my line, 0.25. Let's array this along a curve, this object along this curve. Let's do 8 of them. Let's see if those look spaced evenly. They do. I'm happy with the spacing. And I think I'll erase my geometry. So I've done 2 arrays. I do need to do 1 more. So what I will do is create a sphere. I'm going to set this to shaded. I'm going to make this right here 0.25 as well. Let's move this over 0.5 to center it. We will do a polar array. This is our object to array. The center point will be the center of this circle. 12 times. We do need to be in our right viewport, seeing our center point. 360. Oh, that's obviously incorrect as well. We'll select this again. We'll go to our right viewport, and we will select the center point of this circle 12 times, 360, and enter. That looks much better. We have 1 array that goes polar around the center point of a circle, 1 array along a curve, and then another array along a curve. I'm going to complete my split at this point with grid snap on. I'm going to select from here to here. I like these corners to be rounded, so I'm going to go into curve, and I'm going to fillet my curve the radius of 1. Sounds good. Select those curves and those curves. I'm going to take this line, and under curve, I'm going to offset to the inside 1 unit, and curve. We'll fillet these with a small radius. I'm going to hold Alt, bring these over here, shrink it down ever so slightly, and then we can split this object and this object with those objects. And have different areas that we can kind of color separately. In the next video, what we'll do is create our helixes and possibly begin texturing some of our geometry. We do need to create a couple lofts, so I will do that as well.